Hi guys, and welcome to another video lesson. It's another absolute scorcher in the studio today. I've probably already gone pink, so apologies for that. Today we are going to be looking at some unison note builds. Okay, first things first, what are unison notes and what are builds? Well, unison notes are playing more than one thing at once. So if you played on the snare drum, right, left, right, left, right, left, those are called single strokes. Unison notes are where you play both hands at the same time. You're trying to get the sticks to come down at exactly the same time. And we usually play them on two different surfaces. You can play two hands on one drum at the same time. A little bit pointless, because if you get them perfectly in unison, it should sound the same as playing with one hand. We're not robots though, so we can't always get them perfectly, absolutely 100% in unison. They're also referred to as double stops as well. That can have a separate meaning, but just in case you hear this referred to as double stops, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about two notes at the same time. That's a very long explanation to just say two notes at the same time, wasn't it? Sorry, I'm rambling on a bit. Right, builds. Okay, so builds literally means something that builds up, normally in intensity or volume. Sorry, rambled on a bit there. Unison note builds, more than one note at the same time, building in intensity or volume. There you go, could have done that a lot quicker, apologies. Right, so let's start by building some unison note builds. See what I did there? We're going to start with our stronger hand. Right hand for me, I'm right-handed. Lefties, swap all the stickings round. You should know this by now. I'm right-handed. I tend to forget to mention the left-hand stickings. I apologise. So for you, swap these stickings around. Right hand on tom 3. We're going to play quavers 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and just on tom 3. Now, we're really putting quite a heavy workload on one hand, and we're going to do this with our other hand in a minute as well. So if you need to slow any of these exercises down, if you need to pause the video, go away and work on these, then do. I've said this before in other videos, I'll say it again, I didn't start at the speed that we're starting at today. I slowed it right down and started slower as well. We're going to go at 70 beats per minute today, but if you need to slow that down to 40 or 30, whatever speed you need to slow it down to, it's fine. Concentrating on getting it right and getting it even before you worry about getting it fast. Okay, I rambled on again. I really am talking a lot today. I'm sorry. Right, let's get playing some drums. One hand, quavers, tom 3. Let's go. I shall keep this next bit short because I've been rambling on. This time, left hand on the snare drum, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And this is our weaker hand, so don't be surprised if this is a lot more effort. Don't be surprised if this one can't quite keep up with the right hand yet. Slow it down to whatever speed you need to be able to play even quavers on the snare drum. Here we go. So let's turn that into our unison note build. Two hands at the same time, left hand on the snare, right hand on tom 3, quavers again, and we're going to try and play them as evenly as we can and trying to get both hands to come down at exactly the same time rather than one after the other. Again, 70 beats per minute here, but if you need to slow this down, that's absolutely fine. So now I'm going to put that build in a 3-1 resolve so we can hear what it sounds like next to a groove. Have a listen to the sound. It's we're used to putting fills in bar 4, that's fine. We know what happens when you play a groove and then a fill. Have a listen to this build though. See what it does as you go back round into the groove. As with any 3-1 resolve, try and keep the groove and the fill nice and even and get rid of any pauses moving from the fill back to the groove and vice versa. I'm going to throw a crash cymbal in as well at the beginning of the resolve just to make things a little bit more interesting. Here we go. So this time I'm going to play exactly the same thing again, 3-1 resolve using the same build, but I'm going to throw the bass drum in on beats 1, 2, 3 and 4 in that build. So now we have 3-way unison going on. We've got our hands playing all of the quavers, but the bass drum's now joining in on 4 of those notes, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Be careful you don't get this kind of doo-dum, sound between your hands and feet. We are not robots, we are not machines, so our different limbs don't necessarily automatically work at the same speed. One hand might be quicker than the other, feet might be slower than one hand, faster than the other, and so on and so on and so on. We're looking for even unison notes, absolutely at the same time. Here we go. I started with this unison note build, tom 3 and the snare drum, because it's probably the most commonly used build in pop and rock music. In fact, when someone says, can you build? I think the default position for a drummer is, okay, tom 3 snare drum, off we go. But there are other places that you can play unison note builds. This next example uses the other 2 toms as well. So I'm going to play tom 1 and the snare, tom 2 and the snare, and then down to tom 3 and the snare. Now there's 8 notes in total in the bar, and I've only got 3 toms. So I'm going to end up playing 4 notes down on tom 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and then 4 and again here. If you're lucky enough to have a 4th tom, go for it. Come down and play that 4th tom on the 4 and. Here we go. Yes, you guessed it, that build in a 3-1 resolve. Here it is. So that's it for the unison note builds that we're going to look at today. Why not pause the video though and have some fun experimenting with your own? What different unison note builds can you come up with? We've done toms and snare, that's it. We've done tom 3 and then we've looked at tom 1, tom 2 and tom 3. What happens if you get the cymbals involved? Ride cymbal, hi-hat, even the crash cymbal. If you want to go nuts and have a super loud fill, why not? Why not combine cymbals and toms? You get the idea, have some fun. The most important thing with these unison note fills is that your hands and your feet, if you decide to throw the bass drum in, are playing at exactly the same time. So I'm going to improvise a little bit now using some unison note patterns and ideas and possibly a few other things as they come to mind. This is something I would encourage you to do every single time you practice. Give yourself some time at the end of your practice just to have some fun experimenting with the ideas you've been working on. It doesn't matter if you end up somewhere else. I love lessons when students come in and say, I practiced that idea. I always like it when students start the lesson with, I practiced that idea you gave me. And then it turned into this. Where am I? What am I doing? That's great. That will keep your practice fresh and interesting, and that's fine. Don't worry about that. Try and stay on point where you can. We want to develop the ideas we're looking at, but don't worry if you suddenly end up somewhere else because you've been inspired to come up with a new idea. That's great. Enough talking. Again with the rambling. I'm back to the rambling again. I do apologise. Right, improvising with unison note patterns. Here we go. So that's it, unison note patterns, playing more than one note with hands and possibly feet as well. Hope you've enjoyed that, guys. If you've got any questions, please feel free to get in touch. If you're watching this on YouTube, put a comment down below. I will get back to you as soon as I can. Stay safe and enjoy your drumming, guys.